What's going on, chosen ones? It is June 4th, and it's 10:33 in the morning. So, welcome back to the Kimberly on the channel, where we talk about awesome things literally all the time. And I'm glad you're here, and grab whatever you need to grab, do whatever it is you need to do to get cozy and engaged. The title for today's message is Your Hater's Mask is Slipping. So if you're getting this message, I got this message like yesterday, and I was like, that's interesting. But then it came back to mind today. But basically, you've probably been like killing it, making progress, and there's always people in our lives that it is always unfortunate, but we realize like later on, like they never really liked us, but they like smiled in our faces. Everyone's heard this over and over, and fooled us into thinking that they were really for us, because it would be like too obvious if they were like giving you the stink eye or giving you attitude. But if you're getting this message, you're actually at the point where like people are giving you that like weird attitude, or the people who kind of have been like really egging it on that they're for you, it's starting to become painfully obvious that just they can't keep up with it anymore. You're at this point where there's no stopping you, and you've excelled past the point where anyone was like, damn, like that person's really killing it. Like you're like literally at the point, whatever it is you're doing, I don't know what project you're working on, etc. Hobbies, could be hobbies, but it's something that fulfills you, and you've been like killing it. And so this is when the enemy likes to come up and dismantle our progress as a means of discouragement. So, obviously, we're not going to let that happen. We have Romans 12:14. Bless those who persecute you. Do not curse them, but bless them. That's easier said than done, isn't it? This is why it's just good to refer to the active word. My elbow my shoulder just popped. It keeps popping. It's weird. Romans 12:20. Therefore, if your enemy is hungry, give him food, and if he is thirsty, give him a drink. This last one I particularly have a hard time with, because it's like, I want to argue with it, but Luke 23:34. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And I'm like, bro, I think they, like, yesterday this guy just like randomly called me a crazy bitch on the street. I was like skateboarding, and then we were at the traffic stop, and it's the third time this summer that some guy on the street has just called me a bitch in like front of other people as a way to demean my personhood and delegitimize my presence. And it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, come on, we got to think of some other word. Like, this is not cutting deep anymore. You guys got to come up with some other insult for women. But it's like, when I read a verse like, Jesus said, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing, it's like hard in my mind to be like, I feel like that guy knew what he was doing when he called me a bitch in front of everybody yesterday at the traffic stop. He felt rejected. That's not my problem. It's really not my problem. But I just moved away from him because I felt instinctively like he wanted to hurt me, actually. It was scary. So I just picked up my skateboard, and started walking on the sidewalk, and walked the complete opposite direction after I noticed that he was just like looking at me like I was a piece of steak on a plate that just arrived just for him. But also like looking at me like he wanted to really, really hurt me and attack me. It was like this guy on this motorcycle, and he was like, I just saw this aura of brown and black and purple like floating above him in like my own vision, like in my own intuition, picking up things that I felt that, and I saw it, and so I like immediately broke eye contact. But he was wearing sunglasses, so it was this whole intimidation thing. Like I couldn't even see any person underneath him. But it's like things like that. Like I was just kind of like venting to my sister about that guy. Because I'm sick of getting called a bitch by random men on the street who I like accidentally like roll my little cartwheel over their foot and like, you bitch. I'm like, you're looking to be rude. You're like, it's so uncalled for. I accidentally rolled over your foot with my cart, and it's a cramped subway, and like I'm just so sick of men like wanting to find. I'm so sick of people being disrespectful. And so when we're like at this point where we're like dealing with haters, dealing with hate, dealing with like that animosity, it's a great way to actually see that you is killing it at life, because otherwise people don't act that way for nothing. Like if you're like triggering people just by like your presence or by like you just bossing it up. Like sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I've talked to other people before too, and they're like, I don't know, I feel like that person was just giving me attitude and I didn't do anything to them. Like sometimes like we make it up in our heads, other times like it actually is kind of like a racist thing or a bigotry thing or a sexist thing, but we can't ever really read other people's minds. So it's like, but we can feel hate from another person, even if they don't say anything, even if they don't necessarily make a facial expression. It's an evolutionary skill set, I do believe, that every human has, where we can feel the hate or the love from another person. So when we're in this situation, it's best to remember that active word of God, to stay cool, calm, and collected, baby. Because I just kept walking after that guy called me a crazy bitch. But in my head, I think like, it took restraint to not turn around and say, and go back and be like, what'd you say? That would get me killed. So it's like, but he literally was looking at me like he wanted to it. There was so much anger and rage. And I was actually checking out another guy who was walking out of an apartment building, and I was checking out his biceps. And I was like arching my I was waiting at the traffic stop, and I was watching, and then he finally walked away out of viewpoint, and then I like looked over, and the guy on the motorcycle was just staring at me and checking me out. And then I went like, the fuck you doing? Like that to him, and then I grabbed my longboard and I walked the other direction, and then he's like, you crazy bitch! So, I think he felt sad that I wasn't checking him out, but sorry, dude, that guy with the biceps, got the first dib. Yeah, it's a stressful world. It's a time that we're living in that is, difficult. And, compassion and having mercy and forgiving others when we really are feeling tested by other people's behavior, it's actually for the best for ourselves and for them and for the collective consciousness. So it's definitely easier said than done. Luke 23:34, Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Oh, man. So, just stay cool, calm, and collected. I know also, like, yesterday was pretty hot in the city, first day, being pretty warm. And so, just going into the summer months, be on your guard, be extra, do what you need to do to meditate and find your grounded center, because people are going to be getting a little bit even extra crazy with the hot weather, too. I do feel like that's typically a trend. Increased crazy behavior with increased temperatures. So, yeah, just keep going. Your haters are at the point where you're at the finish line, and you've probably already passed the finish line. You're killing it so much that the mask is just slipping, so people can't even fake it anymore. Whoever's in your life that's been like, oh yeah, you're great, I love it, I'm super happy for you. But then you kind of get this feeling they don't really mean it. They're not really for you. These are the people, they're at the point where they're going to start to respect you. They have no other choice at this point because you've beat the odds. Stay excellent. I'll see you guys on the next video.